During the day, I am a secretary, but at night, I become a gambler. I have put all my experience and efforts into gambling. At the same time, I am terrified of losing everything. To be honest, my life has become unbearable. Naturally, this has impacted my work, and I deeply regret it. The path of gambling is undoubtedly a dead end, a road to destruction.
Guys, stop gambling, stop gambling. I'm Zhao, a living example. I started gambling online in 2017 and played until 2021. Those 4 years of gambling made me feel like I was neither human nor ghost. I lost more than just money. I lost my personality, my dignity, and my values. Before 2017, although I wasn't rich, I had my own picture frame factory. Due to the industry's downturn, I became lost and tried to find a way out, until a friend introduced me to online gambling. At that time, I naively thought I had found a way to get rich. Over the 4 years, I won some, lost some. In the end, I couldn't even manage my business and sold it off for cheap, losing everything. It wasn't until after losing so much money that I learned the value of hard work and the meaning of money. Despite the tough years of debt, I never gambled again because I realized that as long as I stayed away from gambling, my life could improve. If I kept gambling, it would only get worse. Even if I only made 100 or 200 a day delivering food, I felt at peace with myself. So, guys, not gambling is winning. Please, don't continue gambling. If you are on this path like I was, you will end up with nothing.
Today, the company gave us a day off. My youngest son was very happy to see me at home. As soon as he saw me, he ran up, hugged me, and said, "Dad, I want to go to the supermarket today." I was thinking of resting at home, since I finally had a break. But thinking about the last few years, where I fought against my online gambling addiction, constantly striving for victory to satisfy my greed and desires, without caring about my family's feelings or my children, I now find myself deeply in debt, walking the path of repayment every day. Yes, it's been a long time since I spent time with my youngest son. I said, "Baby, I'll spend time with you today." He was very happy, skipping and holding my hand as we entered the supermarket. There were many toys in the store. He saw a big one, looked at it for a while, then moved on to look at other toys and finally picked a small car worth 20 yuan. He said, "Dad, I want this one." When I paid, he said, "Dad, you're so good. You're the best dad in the world." The feeling I had in my heart at that moment, I can't really describe it. I knew he liked the bigger toy, but probably gave it up when he saw the price. Actually, I realized that in the years when I was gambling and throwing away tens of thousands, even millions, I never thought about my family, never considered the consequences. Only now, when I'm awake, can I feel the warmth of my family and the happiness of their company. Looking back at the past, I feel so much regret, it almost breaks my heart. I used to think that giving my family a lot of money would make them happy. But only now do I realize that it's not like that. If I had been more thoughtful, more present with my family, perhaps I wouldn't have fallen into the trap of greed. So, for many friends, if you're still caught in this delusion, thinking you can turn your life around through gambling, please spend more time with your children and family, listen to their voices. Don't wait until it's too late, because when it's too late, it will be really too late.
I am a female gambler who plays online gambling. I've been playing this thing for 12 years, little by little. I am really an old gambler. I once had everything, a good family, great parents. I'm the youngest in the family and my brothers and sisters loved me a lot. No matter what I did wrong, they always forgave me time and time again. Since I started gambling online, all of these things gradually wore away and I made my family fall apart. My friends, because of my online gambling, wouldn't lend me even 10 yuan, and I ended up with nothing. I used to have many friends, and my family treated me with a lot of care. When I wanted to buy something, my mom would buy it for me. But since I started gambling, now I am alone in another city with no support. My family doesn't even call me anymore, they abandoned me. My friends didn't even comment when I posted on social media saying I wanted to commit suicide. They didn't show any concern, not even one phone call. I know that a gambling addict will always be a gambling addict. I hope that everyone, my brothers and sisters, all my friends, can watch my video because I am really living this. This is my personal experience, and I hope it can serve as a warning to you. Really, don't touch online gambling. The suffering it brings is enormous. I was once my parents' hope, their pride. But after getting involved with gambling, I have become a disgrace to my family, a joke. I lost all of my family's savings, sold property, and now everyone in town knows I am a female gambler, and I'm still not married. I destroyed everything, and no one wants me, no one loves me. Now, I understand the harms of online gambling. I want to live a better life, I want to change. I am not a criminal, I won't do illegal things. I want to pay off my debts little by little, but the most important thing is to stop gambling. If I can't stop, I am a person who doesn't even have a home anymore. My parents are getting older, and all I want is to pay off my debts and change so that I can return home and care for them. Many people ask me why I'm still wandering, why I don't go back home. But do you know? Would you have the courage to go home after so many failures, so many debts? When your parents are sick and you can't even give them a penny, would you still have the courage to go home? I also want to go home, but now I don't have the courage. I just want to quit this addiction. I tried quitting for 3 years, but I ended up gambling again. I know how terrifying this is. You end up lying to others, deceiving them, and you don't want to be like that. I wasn't like this before, and now all I want is to change, to improve, and for my family to see that I am trying to change. I want one last chance to get rid of this.
A gambler's confession. I am a victim and participant in online gambling. Online gambling has caused me great suffering, led me to become depressed, and completely destroyed my worldview. I started getting involved with online gambling in 2018. Over time, I ended up joining nearly 100 different platforms. Like all gamblers, I started small and then gradually increased my bets. At first, I was happy with just 50 or 80 a day, but I was mostly losing. After losing for about 2 months, I got involved with a group of bettors from a chat app. At first, I didn't believe in them. I thought the mentors and the bettors were just scammers. How could they actually help you win? But since I was losing, I decided to observe for another week and eventually gave one of the mentors a chance. One night he helped me win nearly 8,000, which was equivalent to 2 months' salary. I thought he was my savior. Over time, I grew to trust him more, and after a few sessions, I realized he was much better than I was at gambling. Eventually, I became more dependent on him. One night, he helped me win over 30,000. That amount of money completely changed my perspective. As a regular worker earning 3,000 to 4,000 a month, how could I possibly earn that much money in one night? It was a revelation. Soon, my greed grew. I started believing his money was my money. He became my ATM. I wanted more and more. I became obsessed and neglected everything else in my life. In just 6 months, I lost 100,000, sold my house, sold my car, went into 60,000 in debt, and I still couldn't stop gambling. It's been painful. Sometimes I thought about doing something else to make a little extra money, but I always ended up losing more. I remember a time when, after losing all my money, I had to beg others to give me a few dollars to buy basic things like groceries. I checked my account balance and couldn't bring myself to go into the store. I had forgotten how hard it was to live with no money. I've gone through tough days, and when I think back, I see how out of control I was. It's really funny in hindsight. I share this not to brag, but because I know my family and friends may see it. I can't hide anymore. I hope anyone still involved in online gambling will learn from my mistake and stop before it's too late. Don't gamble anymore, please. Reflect on this, let go of gambling, and live in the present. Let's move forward.
Over 3 years of online gambling, my life became unbearable. I started with small bets on the lottery, spending just 2 or 5 yuan, thinking it was harmless. But I quickly began winning, and the excitement of it all made me feel like I had a winning streak. After a month, I made a bigger bet of 100 yuan, and I won 4,000 yuan. The thrill led me to invite my colleagues to celebrate, but little did I know that I was heading into a deep abyss of despair. As my gambling escalated, I lost all the money I had earned through hard work. I even secretly used the money I had saved up to gamble more, thinking I could win it all back, but in the end, I lost even more. After months of gambling and losing, I turned to credit cards for more funds, racking up even more debt. At my lowest, I started borrowing money from friends and family. Soon, my bank started calling, and my wife and father were contacted about my debts. I was at the brink of collapse, with no way out. Lying in bed at night, reflecting on these 3 years of gambling, I realized that if I kept going, I would lose everything. I decided to quit gambling, and now I advise everyone to avoid this destructive habit. Gambling can destroy lives, families, and futures. Don't let the temptation of easy money lead you to ruin. It's a path that only brings pain and loss.
Gambling is death. Not gambling is also death. What should I do? Many people think that continuing to gamble still holds hope, because it has indeed brought me profits before. And in this circle, I hear people every day saying that they've won back what they lost, that they've recovered. So, I think that at least if I gamble a little every day, I'll reduce my pressure. But in reality, I know that one day the cycle will repeat. Like chopping wood every day until the axe eventually wears out. I still hope I can stop before that day comes and get what I want. Otherwise, my debt will explode at any moment. Now, my friends and family are constantly asking for their money. The pressure is immense. When I think of my debt of more than 1 million, even if I keep working for 5 or 10 years, I'll never pay it off. Really? I see no hope. I can't even live through one day. It's so hard. Gambling or not gambling are two completely different things. If I keep playing, what I call hope is just my beautiful illusion. In reality, it is fragile and cannot withstand it. In the end, time will prove that it was all just a waste of time, digging more holes for myself. In the end, I have to stop gambling and pay off my debts. I don't want to gamble this path anymore. Now, I have enough courage to face it, accept the reality, and endure these difficult times. Things will definitely get better.
I was once a gambler. At that time, I always thought I could quit on my own, but time after time I failed. I tried to resist for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I even, like many others, managed to hold on for 6 months or even a year, but in the end I fell back into the same trap. Even after I had paid off all my debts, it was as if something pulled me back into the game. When I was under pressure, I saw gambling as a way to solve my problems, to pay off debts, maintain my face, and prove my worth. But when things got a little better and there was no pressure, my mind would wander again to the false joy I felt while gambling. My brain would send signals of excitement and happiness, memories of the thrill I experienced while betting. I tried to suppress it, once, twice, 3 times, but the desire always broke through my rational defenses. Sometimes it was just a sudden impulse to spend or the desire to buy something that would lead me back down that irreversible path. Gambling made me lose so much, it almost destroyed my family, drove away my friends, and stripped me of my dignity. But fortunately, I woke up to reality. I started to face my problems, got away from the gambling circle, and worked on adjusting my mindset. Now, I have returned to the right path and live a normal life. I know this road is very difficult, but I am determined to stick with it and never make the same mistakes again. I also hope that those who are still struggling in the depths of gambling can turn back, embrace a better life, and keep going.
Why is it so hard to eradicate gambling addiction? Not just in China, but worldwide? The answer is simple. As long as there's a market for fools, there will always be scammers. If everyone stopped gambling, online gambling would naturally disappear. And of course, it's not that simple. Some family members, in an attempt to prevent the gambler from sinking further, tried various solutions. Some froze their bank account, others stopped giving them money. Without capital, you can't gamble anymore. Some, knowing they used an app on their phone, switched their phone and removed the app. They tried everything, But did it work? The answer, as anyone watching this video knows, is no, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because many people still don't understand the fundamental concept. Gambling addiction is a disease, and gambling dependency is very similar to drug addiction.
When drugs enter our body, they release chemicals that stimulate the brain to release dopamine, causing enormous pleasure and euphoria. Many have heard of this substance. When we eat sweets, our brain also releases dopamine to reward us. However, when we use drugs, the amount of dopamine released is hundreds of times greater than the amount released in a normal week.
This gives us an immense feeling of pleasure, but over time, the body starts receiving incorrect signals. If you're addicted, your brain starts expecting that excessive amount of dopamine, and the body loses its ability to balance the production of this substance, leading to an increasing dependency, and when you try to stop, the withdrawal effect emerges, a process that is extremely painful. Dopamine simply disappears from the body, and what remains are physical sensations of pain, exhaustion, and suffering. Those who have gone through this describe it as the feeling of ants crawling on their joints. The physical suffering becomes so intense that it's unbearable. On top of this, most addicted gamblers can't stop because they've lost too much, can't accept defeat, and have accumulated debts beyond their ability to pay. This prevents them from stopping. The truth is that while gambling promises freedom, it only imprisons you further. If you or someone you know is facing this, remember that there are resources and professionals ready to help. What do you think about this issue? Have you had any experience with a family member or even yourself? If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more dilemmas like this. See you in the next video.